Yes, we are back again with another Pickled Dragon Unscripted. This time with something a little different. We have acquired our... Oh, yes. We've acquired our drinks. But we've acquired our Free League Kickstarter rewards of the Mines of Moria. Very, very cool. Now, those of you who remember, the Lord of the Rings used to be published under a 5e system by Cubicle 7. And just before Cubicle 7 was about to release a Mines of Moria box set, they had the IP unceremoniously stolen from them.
No.
Yes. It was sad. And I was pretty dashed because Cubicle 7 did a good job. And I was looking forward to the Mines of Moria. Ooh. And we fear to go in those mines. Tell us, Saruman.
Moria, you fear to go into those mines. The dwarves delved too greedily and too deep. You know what they awoke in the darkness of Khazad-dûm. Shadow and flame.
He told us. So, yes, it is. We have acquired our book. Show off the book. It's a beautiful book. They gave us both a 5e edition and a One Ring Free League system edition of the book. It's beautiful, leather-bound book. And we also got a cloth map of Moria. If you want to hang that up, it's pretty massive and pretty set. I mean, it is a big-ass map of Moria and heavy-duty cloth. Oh, yeah, showing off both sides. Oh, yeah.
Front and back.
So, hang on one second. I gotta get a drink.
This is actually really great quality.
Yeah, it is. It really is nice. And dice. We also got a John Howe print, which I'll show you guys shortly. But first, I would like to encourage you all to like, comment, and subscribe, especially that nearly 70% of you who watch the videos time and time again. And I think it's like 67% who watch the videos but do not subscribe.
70%?
Nearly.
That's so sad. 70% of our subscribers. That's nuts.
Aren't subscribers. Watchers. Our viewers.
Or just watchers?
Or just
Pervs.
They're lurkers.
Pervs.
Lurkers. So please subscribe. It would be a wonderful, wonderful gesture. Also, if you would like to support our channel, please visit www.dnddice.com and use promo code PICKLED.
What was the promo code?
Pickled?
Ah.
Pickled. Use the promo code when you buy your dice. Just load up. They got beautiful dice with inclusions and metal and all manner of other weird stuff.
Yeah, I stole a set from Matt just this weekend. The silver ones. They're very pretty.
Yes.
Check them out.
All right. So, Mines of Moria. Let's take a look here at what we received. Beautiful stuff. Come on down here. You can see we have the John Howe print, a bunch of dice. They have some special D12s with a few symbols on them that mean special things, and D6s with special things for their system. And again, that's for the One Ring system, but there's also a book that is the 5e version of it.
Ah.
So it's worth checking out. It's worth checking out.
I really like the inscription on the back, actually.
Oh, what's it say?
Would you like to read it?
You can read it.
Aww.
You're a good reader.
The world is gray, the mountains old. The forge's fire is ashen cold. No harp is rung, no hammer falls. The darkness dwells in Durin's halls.
Ooh, yes. So here we have the map, a nice shot of the map. It gives us the top down and the side view, which is really important because you can really get the scope, the massive scope of this place, and you can see the scale here in miles, how big this mountain was and how deep it goes underground.
Which makes it a lot easier if you're trying to figure out how to travel from point A to point B, and it's like,
Yes.
oh, now your party's there. No, they're not.
So the important thing to know is that that in the timeline of things, and the book comes with a timeline of from Khazad-dûm's founding in the First Age all the way up to the present day, and it also gives a glimpse into the future when like the Fellowship goes through. So this is like 55 years before the Fellowship goes into Moria. Mm-hmm. So this is right after the battle of the 5 armies. The orcs are trounced. The goblins, along with their war riders and trolls, are beaten soundly by the forces of dwarves and elves and men and eagles. So everyone's like, okay, with so many orcs have died, they're like, well, Moria is loaded with all those riches, and there's just not that many orcs left, so let's go. So the game, the book, I should say, the game, the text, gives the game master some options. There are a number of different patrons willing to back an expedition.
I really like the
Moria.
artwork. Can we
Yes.
just pause and appreciate the amazing artwork?
Yes, isn't that awesome?
The shading on it. Look at that woman. She's so old, and you can tell her face. And then there's that man with his armor, and you can tell the shine. Like the detail
It
is
is
really
beautiful.
amazing. Oh, look, he's got like a wolf's head on top. I didn't even notice that. It doesn't look like a wolf. That might be
It may be, because you might pull
He's
it
a
down.
wolf?
It looks like the face mask.
it could be some. It's very cool. The
But,
detail.
yeah, I mean, there are all these different patrons that the GM can use, or they can obviously come up with their own.
Sure, why not?
Right? But Moria is massive. I mean, you saw the map of it, and that is at a scale of miles. So, as we go in and begin our journeys in the dark, the book provides tons and tons and oodles of charts to aid you as you explore the deep dark of Moria.
And they're really spread out in such a way to where it's easy to look at, and I don't have to search for what I'm looking for.
Yes, and the charts, they're not like, if you look at some of the old time wandering monsters or wandering charts, a lot of times, they're a bit more annoying to run than they are consequential, because
I feel that.
But these are very, very thematic, and give the GM some really, really profound tools to make this expedition both thrilling for the group as well as kind of nerve-wracking. Cave-ins.
Oh, look, and it's all random, too, so that's kind of fun.
Yes. Orc assaults. You can always... They have a cave troll. Yes. So, moving on, they also have a random chamber generator. And this is several charts deep. I don't have all of the charts here. I'm just showing the introduction to this area. But it's really cool that they give you the ability just to, like, sometimes you kind of run out of steam as a GM, and you just need a little help to push you, across the finish line. Find a few extra details to help flesh out this vast dungeon, these halls, these dwarven halls.
I get that.
And these are absolutely, invaluable when it comes to creating an adventure.
Well, it makes it so much easier for you to create the adventure, especially for someone like myself who, like, I don't know about everyone else, but I have a full-time job. Unfortunately, I am not independently wealthy yet.
Yeah, and, this is hundreds of hours of adventure in this one book.
And it's just so easy to go through and for you to pick up. And I think that I could actually sit down with my friends and throw out a really awesome adventure on the fly with this.
Now, the one thing about Moria is that the enemies found in Moria are extremely deadly. Stealth is critical because it's easy to be just swarmed by hordes of enemies.
You can't throw a helmet down a well.
No, you can't push the skeleton or twist the little
Yeah.
sword. In the book, he just threw a rock down the well.
I know.
But Peter Jackson had him touch the fletching on the arrow. But if you go in just kicking doors open, like a bull storming down the china shop, it's going to be disaster for your fellowship.
Expect some cave trolls. Got it.
Yes, it's going to be bad.
I love the art again. This art is just gorgeous.
It is great, really good. I've always liked all their arcs. Now, obviously, with monsters, you're going to have lots of orcs. They have done something interesting, though. That is, they have created a number of different tribes. So you have the orcs of Udun who serve Mordor. Mm-hmm. You're going to have these fanatics who have some special abilities around leading their thralls into combat. Mm-hmm. But there are a number of different tribes and a number of different allegiances. That's the most important thing. So it's not like all of the orcs owe allegiance to Mordor. There's a number of different bad guys and bosses. And this game actually offers a system for creating new bosses and new motivations. So it's pretty cool. You might also find dwarves that were left behind from the old days, slaves, and they're all unhinged and insane. And that's even, you might encounter a dwarf and be like, oh, a dwarf, let's help him out. And then he cuts your throat.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yes. Oh, you got it. So we got the Balrog of Moria, obviously. He is a kind of an important figure in the lore of Moria. Durin's Bane, of course. You gotta have Durin's Bane.
And they've still got some backstory right there. There we go.
Move our picture out of the way so you can see here. He is pretty tough especially for the One Ring rules. Like, you can't really equate this to 5e, but
okay.
So moving along, other foul things. So one of the things that they've done is you can see here that they've offered suggestions for creatures other than Durin's Bane. So your players are going to go into Moria expecting the Balrog. And maybe you throw them a curveball and find out that a dragon has rallied, 2,000 orcs to his side, and there's a standoff in the mines, or whatever. So it's pretty cool. And of course, there is a variety of other different kinds of monsters to be found. Ash wraiths and giant cave bats.
The marrow eaters. That's what. Oof.
Yes.
So what do they do? Like, just decapitate them and suck the marrow out of their spine?
Chewing the marrow out.
Oof.
Now, it's interesting. If you get Tolkien discussed deep in Khazad-dûm. They were nameless things. Mm-hmm. And these creatures were supposed to be extremely alien in appearance to what to what we would expect even from a fantasy role-playing game.
I think they nailed it.
Yeah, so I think that they need to, the GM should have an opportunity here to try something cool.
Yeah,
right?
you could probably create your own.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Any of you guys who have played Lord of the Rings online will know that if you go down into the foundations of stone and deeper, you're going to encounter some creatures that are pretty nasty. Pretty nasty. Nameless things. Pretty cool. All right, so we talked about we talked about the random chamber generator. There is also a massive chapter on the mansions of the dwarves.
The mansions of the dwarves. This thing all things devour. Birds, beasts, trees, flowers, gnomes. Gnaws, I can't read that. Gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to meal. Thank you. Slays kings, ruins town, and beats high mountain down. Ooh.
That's one of Gollum's riddles.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
This is so good.
So these are, like I said, we have the random chamber generator. Well, these are like the famous specific locations in Moria. And they might be within the mountain itself or surrounding the mountain. So it could be in or out of Moria. And it's pretty cool. You know, you got the Dimral Door or, the Doors of Durin. And remember, this is before the Lord of the Rings. This is before the water. There was the rock slide.
Right.
That caused the river to back up and flood the area in front of the Doors of Durin. So this is before all that. So it's important to note that, we got the chamber of Mazar Bul, where Balin was entombed when that happened, when he died, of course. So each specific location comes with a map and a key and general descriptions of the location. So, this is something that we would be used to seeing from a role-playing standpoint. But it's cool. So, each of these locations are pretty famous and well-detailed maps and all. Here's the Foundation of Stone. So why I shared this one and why I was talking about the flooding outside Doors of Durin, the Foundation of Stone is where the Watcher in the water dwelt before it came up and made a lair outside of the Doors of Durin.
Ooh.
So you could still encounter the Watcher in the water, but down in the Foundations of Stone.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yes. Here we have description of Balin's expedition, his ill-fated expedition once he actually enters the mountain.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
That is another story, which can wait until after lunch.
Yes, for sure. So if you want to get your fellowship involved in Balin's expedition, you can. Or you can use one of the many other patrons we discussed earlier. Of course, there's sections on mithril, magical treasure. So everyone's going to Moria because they want the loot. They want mithril, they want gold, precious gems. And there was a ton in the mountain. Much of the loot from Moria, though, was taken by the orcs. Mm-hmm. So the upper halls especially are pretty well looted. But the deeper you get, the less the orcs were able to plunder.
Even the orcs don't fall.
Yes. It gets more dangerous. But, it's kind of a risk-reward deal.
Yeah.
And there's rules for solo adventure.
This is what I really like, because I don't always have a lot of people to play with.
Yes. So play your solo adventure. That's a big one. And at the end,
all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us. That's like my favorite quote.
Yes.
My favorite quote.
So, despite your efforts and those of countless other brave dwarves, the shadow eventually repels Balin's valiant campaign, and the king of Moria and every dwarf who accompanied him dies at the vile hands of goblins. The exploits of your brand, their brave deeds, triumphs against the shadow, and hopes for the future are lost to time. But perhaps the history of your band is written in the crumbling pages of a journey or journal. Crumbling pages of a journal, abandoned in those silent halls, waiting to be uncovered by a new expedition into Moria.
This is so good!
So, obviously the GM can do what they want, by canon, Balin falls, and it's sad, right? But, again, the GM can do whatever they want. The thing that immediately struck me about this book was just how customizable it was.
I did see that. There's a lot of customizable pages in the back.
So many charts and just the ability to generate not just random encounters or random events, but very thematic and very detailed, rich encounters that may or may not involve the works. It could just be some terrible event, or maybe you encounter a wraith. It doesn't have to be a ring wraith, but there are other wraiths. There are barrow wights that were tainted by the rings. Remember, some of the rings of the dwarves went missing. So I encourage GMs to really play this up. I mean, whether you want to play the One Ring version or the 5e version, whatever, this is the book I've been waiting for. My hopes were crushed when Cubicle 7 lost the IP, but they've been restored. I really like it.
All right, guys. Well, tell us what you think. Does this seem like something that you would be interested in? We should include the link in the video down below.
Yeah, I think, though, I don't know that if it's available yet on Free League's website.
We're going to find some links for you. If there's links available for you, we will include it in the link down below. As always, if you need any commissions for any of your campaigns, for this one or any other campaigns you may run, let me know. I am taking Christmas requests as of now, and my commission list does get filled up quickly. So send me an email at dracoyaminis@gmail.com or message me on Instagram. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and come back and have another round on us.
Woohoo!